I just got emails this week from my gas provider and my electricity provider that both utilities are going to go up a lot. So great. Nothing I can do about that because we need to run our heater and use our electricity. I'm buying nothing extra. I don't get my nails done anymore. Try to resist buying coffee on my way to work. Paid off all credit cards and keeping them at zero balances. We have to be careful in 2023. Well, boy, is she right. Folks, how many times have we talked about this? But I mean, this is actual real world boots on the ground intel from some of the warnings that were being announced late last year that I brought to you guys about these utility costs going up, rising prices that are happening all across the board. It's almost as if no one is safe. Okay. And this comment here proves that. But this comment here also encourages and makes me happy to know that in spite of what's going on, this person is actually, they have zero debt. They've paid off their credit cards and they're doing all they can to prepare to weather this and fight through this. And you got to be careful. You got to be careful. But additionally, this isn't going to go away. Not in my opinion, not anytime soon. Okay. So what do? Well, there's only really one option, two options. We're going to go with option number one, option A, make more money, because option B literally puts you in a position of vulnerability, ultimately hoping and praying and relying on the government to come save you. Now, granted, folks, IRS tax season rolling around. Maybe you're going to get a big refund, get a big tax return for 2022, 2023. Maybe even 2023, you might see a stimulus check roll out. But if you're holding out, if you're banking on that, well, folks, like I told you before, I've got a bridge I want to sell you in the Black Hills of South Dakota because it's not going to happen. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news. Don't shoot the messenger. If you're on a fixed income, if you rely on any government assistance, government aid, Social Security, SSA, SSI, SSDI, any of these government aid allotments, PEBT, EBT, these programs are not going to put you in a position to receive any sizable tax return that could actually really help you. And when you really think about it, when you break it down, how much money was actually spent over this $6 trillion of government spending through the CARES Act, through stimulus checks and payments like that, most people probably only got a few $1,000s, $3,000 or $4,000. And with the rising prices, the increased growth of inflation, we know that money is going to be eaten up very, very quickly. So odds are what we really need is an ongoing, long-term, sustainable solution to make sure that we can continuously earn more money, to have to save, to have to invest, to have to grow, to bring back more money, have your money work for you to make more money in order to afford these rising prices without experiencing any hiccup, any emergency, any accident along the way, which is why Wendy's Loving Life says we have to be careful, because any one wrong move, one false step could spell doom. Now, Jay Adams here, he left a comment that I want to share with you guys, and it says that it's true. I'm a plumber, and oh my God, I used to be able to write up big tickets people really wanted, but for the last 3 months, I think people have been tight like fix one thing and go. Or they'll be thinking, okay, which repair is more important, to choose which one down to the cent that they can afford. Now, most of my clientele by area is affluent, aka house rich. Folks can no longer afford to live beyond their means. Now, this is a very interesting situation because we know the current state of the housing market, the real estate market, and a lot of people perhaps maybe purchased homes when money was flowing, when stimulus checks were being cut, stimulus checks were in the mail left and right, and people bought more homes than they could afford while the money was flowing, while the interest rates were low. Now the music has stopped, folks, okay? And here's what happened, all right? So let's just say you bought a home at the height of the housing market, which at the time you didn't know was the height of the housing market, but obviously now you can look back and see, damn, I done paid the most for the house that I could have possibly have ever paid. However, perhaps maybe you got a lower interest rate. That's a plus. Unfortunately, for the people out there who have bought later and or are possibly still buying now, in conjunction with perhaps maybe not having ideal credit scores over 740, not only did you pay a premium for the home, you're paying with dollars that have less value as a result of inflation, in addition to higher interest rates. Therefore, your monthly payment on this mortgage is probably astronomical. Couple that with higher prices on pretty much everything you do, everything you buy, every service that you need, any expense, any time you're running a credit card, swiping a debit card, paying cash, whatever it may be, the price is up. It's more expensive now than it was before. So now when the music is stopped, the money's not being printed, jobs are being lost, companies are executing on mass layoffs, there's hiring freezes, the interest rates are going up, so the money that some of these folks borrowed on their credit cards to furnish these homes, it's really starting to hurt. It's really starting to hurt. And these house rich folks, I don't know, are they house rich or they house poor? Because this affluent clientele that is now nickel and diming and really taking a close look at what they can actually afford for repairs and upgrades and different things like that, clear indication, which is something that I brought up to you guys months ago about certain industries and certain professions that aren't necessarily, they're not necessarily must-haves and necessities. So, but I have to actually take a new stance and a new position on that, because I've seen a lot of changes since I made that video. It's been a few months. And there were some that were relatively safe. So if you were a flooring contractor, I would say that as a flooring contractor, especially perhaps maybe in a residential space, maybe even in a commercial space, you may not be deemed essential, a necessity. The floors get scratched up, they get scuffed up, there's some damage to the floors. People can live, okay? They'll walk over it, they'll get the little markers, and they'll fill in the blemishes with the little wood stain markers. They'll get a rug and cover it up. It don't matter, okay? However, on the flip side, if you got a hole in your roof, odds are roofers are essential. Roofers are a necessity, because most people can't necessarily live with like being open to the elements and having rain falling in the house and things like that. In addition to the fact that a lot of insurance companies would pay for the repairs. So the homeowner, even if the homeowner was cash strapped, they wouldn't be in a bind and not be able to afford it. They would just run it through an insurance claim on their homeowners and it would get fixed. But now with the changes of homeowners insurance, you guys know what I'm talking about. With the changes of homeowners insurance and the tightness of people's budgets being unable to possibly necessarily afford the deductibles, and or being afraid to file the claims because they know what's going to happen to them afterwards with the repercussions of the insurance company and their premium moving forward, on the top of these higher replacement costs on paying the max for these homes that they bought at the height of the housing market before the crash. So now even roofers are possibly seeing their necessity being reduced. They're not necessarily as essential as once were, and perhaps maybe they'll be called, but they're going to be called to put a tarp on the roof for long term versus actually fix and repair. So when I see a comment like this coming from a plumber, albeit plumbers and electricians, in my opinion, are some of the most valuable trades out there, because I consistently hear that they're hard to find and, you know, they can't get enough help. And whether it is repairs or modifications, renovations, and or new construction, which, you know, we'll see how new construction plays out moving forward as we, you know, push through this recession. But they are potentially like, I mean, that's an amazing trade. You know, carpenter is good. Yeah. I think finishers are perhaps maybe even better than carpenters, because apparently if you ask, you can tell when a carpenter tries to finish a home or, you know, do a trim package versus a finisher. There's a big difference. Okay. So, but when I see this alerts me that the money's getting tight. People are becoming more frugal. They're holding on. They're afraid. They're worried. They're panicking. They may have perhaps maybe lost their job. They were in the tech sector. They were work for Google or Nvidia or Facebook, Google, Meta, and or maybe they just worked at Amazon, and you know they were doing well. They had some money. They got a good interest rate, and they were able to get in. But at the end of the day, this pain point is going to be felt. A lot of folks are going to feel the squeeze, and they're going to perhaps maybe end up doing things like this. So in my opinion, I would want to do a few things. I want to do a few things in this situation that I want to tell to Jay Adams, and that is I want to diversify. So I'm not only focused on affluent homeowners, okay? I want to focus on the homeowners. I want to focus on the general contractors. I want to focus on the commercial businesses. I want to focus on a variety of ways that I can increase my reach as a contractor to bring in more and additional work. I may have to even go outside of my normal, you know, whatever mile radius I have, but I want to increase my ability for diversity in my clientele. And most importantly, there's another step that I would really want to do as a plumber, as an electrician, as any skilled trade that is or was in high demand, that you're now seeing that people are looking and thinking to themselves, I need to scale back, I need to pull back, I need to tighten up, I need to tighten these purse strings. I need to save some money. I gotta be smart and frugal and budget. There's one thing that I would really do to it's odd because basically what I'm trying to say is that as these customers, as these clients, as these potential clients are telling you they don't have the money and they need to spend less, I would execute on this immediately while they're saying that would automatically pay me more money without them even having to come out of pocket, okay? And there's a few people who are actually doing it that I see doing it. And it's a great novel way to, again, add that diversity to your income and also increase your reach at the same time, increase your visibility to gain new clients. If you guys want to know, hit me up, join me in the network. I'm talking money, I'm talking business, I'm talking growth and success all the time. And seriously, if you own your own business, if you run your own business, if you're a freelance contractor, if you're doing gig work on the side and you're not doing this, then you are ultimately missing out on a huge opportunity for income, revenue, gaining more business, increasing your reach, building your brand, and solidifying your safety, your financial safety and future as we push through this recession. You guys take care. Be safe. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.